They are bad. They are evil. Don't
Really.
invest in the 401k. Don't put your money there.
But the better your score is, you'll get lower interest rates.
It doesn't matter what it is. Your parents will always tell you the safest option, which is get a job, just stick to your career, forget what you're passionate about.
And he had a meme that went viral on a YouTube channel. So he was getting paid, like his YouTube channel got monetized. Like it had like millions of views.
The amount of money I'm going to be making will hurt your parents' feelings. Remember the class where I taught you all how to make it rain?
Welcome back. I'm not sure what episode this is. I think this is episode 3. But in this episode, we are not going to be speaking on my book. We're actually going to be speaking directly on Heidi's book today and breaking it down and trying to get a gauge as to what her book is, what is it about, and how you can get some value from it as well. So, Heidi, what is the name of your book?
It's called I Will Teach You to Be Rich, but I have realised I didn't take the author's name down. So we'll have to put that in the caption. But yeah,
Right.
it's I Will Teach You to Be Rich.
What did you take from it so far?
I've got notes from chapter 1, so we can get into it. It's not like a how to make money from like a side income or anything like that. It's more how to make money that you might already have work for you by sort of teaching you about credit, things like that. And it gives you a 6-week sort of action plan thing. So it's like by the end of 6 weeks, you should be able to set up the right bank account, get a credit card, or at least if you've already got a credit card and you're in debt, know how to start getting out of it. It is an American author, so they have things that is like a 401k and an investment account. I think it slightly differs here in the UK, but it's still really useful. And then gives you tips for budgeting in week 4, and then week 5 it talks about like automating all your accounts and just making your money work for you without having to do much. And then week 6 it dives fully more into investing. So it's a good book. I have read it, but like we'll talk about chapter 1 tonight. But yeah, it does give you a lot of practical steps for you to start taking action. Like once you've read a chapter, it gives you some reflection questions and then action steps that you might need to take.
Okay, interesting. And what made you want to pick up the book? Why that book? Was you referred to it by somebody, or did you just come across it?
Yeah, no, I was in a group chat and we'd had like a call on defeating the poverty mindset. It was like a Christian group, and everybody was just recommending books, and this is one of them. So I opened it up and I just found it really easy to read. So I just got into it. Like it's a bit corny at times because it's American author. I shouldn't say that, but like it was a little bit cheesy. But really, really useful, even though it was like some of it was a bit more like American based advice. I still found it like very helpful as a starting point to kind of research what the UK like alternatives would be and stuff like that.
And speaking on the 401k as well, it's interesting because in that book, do they speak about how it's a good tool to be using for, I guess, for building your money?
Yeah, they recommend it. The author, he recommends it. He really recommends not letting your money just sit in a bank. But and there's a lot of like graphs in there of like if you start investing now versus if you wait, like how your money can build over time because of interest rates, stuff like that. So he's very, very adamant on investing your money. So yeah.
Okay, and what's the background behind the author? Is he someone that's a business owner? Is he like just an employee, or what's his scope on his perspective on money?
I can't remember too much about what he does specifically, but I know he's very passionate about making a book on finance for young people that's easy to understand, and that's like diverse. He's of Indian heritage, and he kind of like touches upon a lot of young people don't get into money because it's the same kind of people talking about it, and this is just very straightforward. And he's just very passionate, I think, about teaching people to actually taking interest in finance. Like that's one of the first things he sort of talks about, is that some of the reasons why people are bad at managing money, and like he puts people into two categories of like people that don't think about money and they feel guilty about it, and then the people that's all they think about and they constantly overanalyze it, and then they still don't take any action because they're like doing all the calculations, stuff like that. So yeah, I do know he's obviously invested himself, and I think like one of his goals that he started a scholarship fund and stuff like that. So he's kind of more about like, he asks you, why do you want to be rich? What does rich mean to you? Like, what do you want to get out of it? He's not like, the advice was not save and scrimp. It was spend smart, spend on what you want to spend, and then scrimp on stuff you don't care about. So like, if you're happy to live in a small apartment and pay really cheap rent, do that. But then if you want to go eat out at like £100 a night for dinner, if you got it like that, do it. That was advice. So yeah. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going back to what you were speaking about. You said how there's usually two types of people. There's one type of people who, you know, they focus on money, they're very calculated, very organized, very, you know, on point with it. Then there's the other type of person who feels guilty and tries to avoid it. What type of person are you, or are you, or was you before reading?
I feel like I've gone between the two. Like I've gone from, oh, I know I need to read about this because I feel absolutely horrible that I don't know enough about money, to then doing too much of like, oh, I don't want to make a decision yet, I need to do a little bit more research. But from reading the book, I did get a credit card, which is something that I've been meaning to do for ages, just because like it does talk about the benefits. Not to get myself in debt, but to have some good debt. And it actually did improve my credit score, like immediately. Like the next month, my score went quite a bit up. It wasn't low, but it helped.
That's
and
good.
Yeah, like some of the benefits it talks about with credit cards is like, say you buy a MacBook and like Apple gives you 2 years warranty. If it breaks after 2 years, if you bought it on your credit card, you actually might have like extra protection with it. You might be able to get a refund or get it fixed. Obviously, if you're traveling, you get some extra protection there if you buy it with your credit card. So as long as you're sensible and you ain't spending money that you don't have, credit cards are actually pretty sweet. Be careful with interest rates, but he does talk about that. He like really like talks it through of like what to avoid and what to go for.
Yeah. And back to the point of obviously either being somebody who thinks about money, calculated with it, or being someone that avoids it and is kind of guilty around it. I think that the whole purpose behind us doing this in the first place is to make sure that we're more conscious with our money at current. And I think, especially from my perspective as well, it's always been like, okay, cool, I know I'm gonna be good, but like I need to sort out everything in the meantime. Do you know what I mean? And in the book that I'm reading, it speaks about that. It says like some people, they know they're gonna be millionaires, so they just, everything in the meantime doesn't matter. And it's like you're kind of then in between the two types of people. You're kind of that person that avoids it, but then you're also the person that thinks about it all the time, but you're just a bit, you know, thinking further ahead rather than where you are right now. Which is in
balance.
I think that's what it's about.
No, I get that, because it is very easy to be like, I know I'm gonna be good, so
no, exactly.
I'll make more.
But I think the thing is as well is that the more that we speak about it, and hence, you know, the reason behind us wanting to start this up is just to make sure that, of course, everybody else is getting value from it, but that we become more conscious of it ourselves.
100%.
And in the book that I'm reading, it's kind of like you now start to be like, raw, this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I should be doing, and this is how I can get here, and I don't need to delay everything and, you know, and not worry about right now, because right now is important.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the first kind of, I guess, thing that he's speaking about in chapter 1?
Okay, let me go down in my notes. I think it's like, so the chapter starts off as just a little bit of, it eases you into talking about finances. So he kind of talks about why we don't, but it's like, it's basic excuses. We have to talk about money. We have to be aware of our money. We should manage our money. It's not scary. We can do it. It's all good. So that's where it starts. Then he goes into, why do you want to be rich? So we've discussed that.
Why do you want to be rich?
Why do I want to be rich?
Yeah.
Rich means me. At the minute, it's freedom of time, because 9 to 5 is a mind deficiency and not computing. I'm tired. But also, to be honest, like a more recent kind of thing is actually just looking at my parents and thinking, you lot need a break. You lot need a break. I actually want to be able to take care of you. Like, my mom has been working from day dot, like literally 14, and she's like 56. So it's just like,
wow.
She need a break.
And are you the only child?
I'm the eldest child, yeah.
Oh geez. So you got some pressure.
Yeah. I know, because my brother's he's doing really well for himself. Like, he's got his head really screwed on with finances. Like, he's had such a good head start. Obviously he's the youngest, so you don't want to put anything like that on him, because it's like he actually needs to enjoy his money. Like, I had time.
And is there any kind of competition between you and your brother when it comes to who's gonna do better than the other person, or, you know, in general?
I don't know. I feel like he does make me want to like work harder, because it's just like, come on, like, my 7 years younger than me brother, like, what is this? Like, I actually need to sort my stuff out. Like, get my ass in gear. I've made some poor decisions, like, but, you know, I think he watched me make some of those poor decisions, so he'll never make them. Like, and like, he was like a really like gamer boy. So he was like making money off making Fortnite maps, like, from early. Really? And like, and he had a meme that went viral on a YouTube channel, so he was getting paid. Like, his YouTube channel got monetized, like, it had like millions of views. So that's why he's been making money before. Because I used to think, why does mum keep asking you for money? Like, where are you getting this money from? Like, what is this? I've been getting paid.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
So he's never had any of like those mental barriers. Like, my mum and dad could never tell him, don't chase your dreams, because he was making money already. Like, they can say nothing. Like, so I'm happy for him in that regard. Like, we've had that conversation. So no, maybe like a little bit of healthy competition on my side of things, but like nothing nasty, like nothing like that. I am actually so happy for him, because I don't want him to struggle.
It's one of those ones as well, like, and this is just from my perspective, but I guess when you have something that isn't generating you income, it doesn't matter what it is, your parents will always tell you the safest option, which is get a job, you know, just stick to your career, you know, forget what you're passionate about, right? Until the checks start coming through, and then I'm like, oh, well done, you know, I always believed in you, you know, I knew you was gonna make it happen. But in reality, no one believes in you until they start seeing noticeable differences because of what you're actually doing. And I feel like your brother in that sense has had it nice, because from the get-go he's been good. Like,
tell him.
But on the other hand, I guess, you know, being a creative, you know, it's a lot more difficult to kind of grind and make money straight away.
And I'm having to rewire my whole thought process, because like, at my, like, when it was me as a teenager, it was always like, but you need a plan B. But it was like, there was never plan A. You never let me have plan A. Plan A got a chance. Plan B was plan A. So, and I understand why, like, I can't, do you know what I mean? I can't put any, like, I can't hate my parents for that. Like, they wanted to protect me. But yeah, now I'm having to, like, relearn and, like, unlearn. It's not just 9 to 5. It's not just 9 to 5. It's not just 9 to 5. It can't be just 9 to 5. Like, I always used to say that, and my dad was like, you need to get over yourself. Like, he kind of thought, like, I was saying I was too good for a 9 to 5. And it's like, it's not that, like, 9 to 5s are bad, but it's just like I just saw it worked for me. Like, I had that open mind, but it got squashed. It got crushed out of me. I got humbled. But I'm opening up again, and that's why I'm learning and taking proactive control over my finances. I'm not going to be an ostrich and bury my head in the sand and not look at my bank account. I'm not that to be doing that. Not tracking certain outgoings and whatnot, just tapping away. I'm trying to have better habits, and then eventually break free.
What's one of the habits or one of the things that he said that you should pick up which stood out most to you from the book? Of course, you said you got your credit card. Is there anything else?
Not in terms of habits, but it definitely made me want to find the UK, like, alternatives for those for investing. So I think you can get, like, index funds and stuff like that with Vanguard. But it's a lot of information on the website. So I think I personally did want just a little tad more, like, but it's something I want to do. So I'm putting money away to buy it, like, so that it's in my head that money's my investment money. It will be it will be invested. I'm not going to spend it. It will be invested. But yeah.
Speak about, like, what does it say about the 401k? Because I hear a lot about it, and before I guess I share my thoughts or opinions around it, can you explain what it is?
It's not in chapter 1. I do not have my extensive notes.
Okay.
But they did kind of speak about if your company, like, if you are in a job and your company offers putting, like, a matching if you contribute to an investment one and your company does that, to definitely take advantage of it. I can't remember if he speaks too much specifically about it, but, like, he's definitely like, get it. If you like work for yourself, put your money in there, like, have one. There will be some graphs and stuff. So, like, once I make my extensive notes, like, we could probably share stuff, but it wasn't in chapter 1, Leo. I'm sorry.
So because I remember you saying in I think the first episode that you wanted, one of your goals was to get your retirement account. Is this like the same thing?
Yeah, like, this was the book that was like, yes, okay, that's I need to think about that. But I feel like even since that video, I don't know if that is my like immediate goal. Like, it's still on my mind to do, but I am thinking, I think I need to think bigger than that still. Like, it's a great thing to do. But I think with everything that's going on in the world, I am wondering, that could all crash and burn. I need something else. I need actually income. I actually need income rather than just relying on that, because if we go into another pandemic, who's to know what happens? And it's a possibility of something popping off. I can't lie. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and something could pop off at any moment. So I'm thinking, actually, it's income.
And I think this is the key difference as well, is that sometimes I think a lot of people in general, we get complacent with the idea that we're investing when we're forgetting that the main aim is to have cash flow.
Yeah.
And we think, oh, okay, cool, we're investors now. I'm good because
Yeah.
your money is stagnant. It's not doing nothing. Like, bro, it's not doing nothing. And if you're just looking to, and this is my opinion, but if you're just looking to put your money in something that grows like 10% a year, personally, that's something that's going to be so long term. But what if something happens right now, or forget even right now, even within the next 5 years, you're not going to be good. Do you know what I mean?
I think after that conversation, it was like, actually, I feel like I need some more immediate, not locked away, and like some 20 ISA account. So yeah, like I think even like the same week after we had that call, I was like, my answer's changed already. Yeah.
So what would you say it is now then?
Yeah, no, I definitely need to think about finding a different source of income. Like, I'm not going to quit my job, but
and would you say that's a different source of income through picking up something else, or would you say it's a different source of income in terms of through investing and finding it passively?
Yeah, I'd like a more passive, but I'd probably want two. I'd probably want a passive source and then one that I'm a little bit more involved with, and not another job. Not another job like that. It'd have to be me, myself, and I.
I like it. I like it. So it's something that you have control over, something that you can generate income from.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, makes sense. So I guess you haven't read anything about the 401ks and stuff like that, but from what I've heard about 401ks is that they are bad. They are evil.
Really?
Don't invest in the 401k. Don't put your money there.
Really?
And you want to guess which entrepreneur says that?
Grant Cardone. No, is it not? Who says it?
Mr. Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Robert
Why is
Kiyosaki. He says, don't put your money in a 401k. Essentially, you're getting robbed. If you was to take control over your own money rather than being lazy and letting somebody else take control over it, you'd be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
And people do this because they're ignorant and they want to ignore or they don't want to take responsibility over their own money. And that's why they'll resort to doing things like 401ks, because they don't need to worry about it. They don't need to study it. They just leave it there and let it do its own thing.
Yeah.
But in reality, the richest people on planet Earth, they know all of the details around what's going on with their money, or they'll have somebody who takes control over their money, which can explain every little aspect to them whenever they want to.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think for the average person, then it's not too bad if you genuinely don't want to be involved. But I think that is when I started looking at it, like on like the Vanguard website. I was just kind of like, he doesn't really recommend picking your own stocks. Like when he's kind of against it, he's like, it's a waste of time. But I'm kind of like, I wasn't sure. That's why I didn't make that. But I got my credit card because I was like, feel happy enough, got enough information, like been known about it, but I hadn't done nothing about it. Let me do it. But yeah, with the investing, I'm just like, is it entirely that bad to pick your own stocks? Like, I guess like I've like known people that have done trading and stuff. I suppose I'm a little bit more open to potentially being a bit more involved. Where I study politics, I kind of have to keep up with some world events, so I would kind of be able to know, okay, that industry ain't looking too too fire right now. Like,
I mean, it doesn't take, like, for me, from my perspective, if you're investing and not trading, investing is a lot easier than trading, because obviously it's a bit more long term, you know. So like, as an example, a prime example of what could have been something that you could have invested in based off of just news that anybody had access to was, I don't know if you realized, but or you heard about it, but there was a lawsuit that was filed against TikTok for them to get banned in America.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
You heard about that, right? Just the same way that I heard about it as well.
Yeah.
Now, the person that actually filed that lawsuit, that same week and within the space of about 1 month, he ended up putting 1.2 million of his own money into Facebook.
Really?
That's like, because it's crazy. It's kind of considered as insider trading. You could consider it as that, but
yeah.
But everybody knows the information, so it's not insider trading. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's one of them ones where it's kind of like manipulation, because he's the person that's
you instigated this.
Yeah, like he's putting the lawsuit into place. So if he's putting the lawsuit into place, he's basically betting on himself to take down TikTok. And obviously the proceeds of what's going to happen is money's going to pump into Facebook and Meta.
Yeah.
So that's just basic information that anybody could have seen. And you know, but like you said, it's maybe the book that you're reading is steered towards the average person.
Yeah, I think it's like it would be for somebody that has taken no action. So like if you're either the person that you don't think about money, or you think about it too much to the point where you still don't do anything, this is to like help you get your head out of the sand and start making some decisions to get your like basic finances in order. Because it really does delve into like why you would need credit, like just in terms of, you never know, ideally nobody wants to take out a loan, but things like mortgages, even if you have the cash, like most you'd probably still maybe get a mortgage. Like you still need a credit score, like things. But also what I didn't know that I found interesting was having a good credit score actually, like when you're applying for things like loans or credit cards or finance, whatever it is, you actually, the better your score is, you'll get lower interest rates. So I was like, oh, that was really interesting for me, because I have been really done dirty in the past with not understanding interest rates and probably only paying like 50 quid off of the actual item. I don't know if you saw it, but like there's this big thing with like people that got their cars on finance, they might be owed money. Like I'm one of them.
So you're actually one of them, bro. I didn't know it was a real thing.
Actually one of them. I was on money saving expert, and I was like, I'm emailing them. It's so bad. I think they've now like emailed to say we aim to respond in 2026. But I'm just like, bruh, I want, because there's so many cases. Like,
wow.
I'm just like, how did you think you was gonna get away with this? Because I did used to think it. I was thinking, I've been paying this car, and it weren't that expensive. I part exchanged my car. I paid a hefty deposit. Why am I still paying for this car? And it's not like, it was not expensive, but I just wanted to keep some of my money at the time. I could have bought it outright, but I thought, I want my money. I'll do a little deposit. I'll part exchange my car, and then I've only got a couple of grand left on it. No, because I was paying too much in interest. I fumbled the bag, because it got to a point where I was really like, I've had this like 4 years now, like, and it's still saying there's like a couple of grand left. I don't understand. I don't understand. And then I realized, like, oh snap, that interest rate is very high. Yeah, so they I've got done a little bit of day there. So be careful with interest rates. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Very is another one. Like when I first started using that, again, pay in a year. Like you got a year to pay it, and then after that, boom, like 60% interest. Like literally 60% interest. Year goes by, and I'm like, oh god, I haven't paid that yet, have I? Like I've paid half of it, but I haven't paid it. And then I'm like, oh, it's not going down, but I'm paying like double each month. But it's like, oh, it's because there's 60% interest. I'm actually only paying like a little chip off the MacBook and a big chunk of interest. So yeah, I have been done really dirty with stuff like that. It's also because I'm not,
What's your opinion on this? You've heard about Klarna, right?
Yeah, man, that also done me.
Okay, cool. So Klarna is when you pay in installments for clothes.
Yeah, that done me in dirty as well, because again, I was getting paid weekly, and then on top of that, doing Klarnas, and I keep thinking like, where's my money? Like, well, I haven't got money. Like, where's my money? Like, and I'm trying to even look. I'm like, I don't think I have that much. And then I clocked. It's like, because you're doing like £300 each time, but you're only paying £50, but you're paying like £50 three times, but it's £100, like it's 300 quid. And I'm like, shit. Shit. Yeah, that's done me dirty a couple of times as well, because sometimes I'll do it if I think, oh, I'm not going to keep everything, so I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay up front because I know I might have to return stuff if it doesn't fit. But I always miscalculate that.
So how does that work then? So if you've taken out a finance, it's essentially a loan for your clothes for the next few months and it doesn't fit, do you get the money back then, or how does it work?
Clothes back. And it was like, okay, say I paid £100 in free, I'd pay like the first installment. If I'm keeping some of it, then either have to take, like, maybe it was going to be like £40, they'll only take 20 because I've returned the rest and then it's paid off, or you get a complete refund. Say like I didn't keep anything from it, I'd get a full refund.
And does it not affect your credit then? Because if it's essentially a loan, does it not go on your credit?
At first, it did not. At first it did not, but they are sneaky now, because it actually does show. It doesn't affect your credit score, but it does now come up on your report, which I didn't know about. I didn't know about it because they didn't do it at first, but I think a lot of people actually just didn't pay their Klarnas. So they weren't paying it. They did not pay it back. They did not pay back the money. So now it actually does show up on your full report. You can see that you took it out, but it doesn't actually affect your credit score. So like my credit card, it's on my report and it is affecting my credit score because it's like it comes up as a debt that you have basically. But Klarna doesn't show up in that way, but it might in the future because people will obviously taking
liberties, mate. Liberties.
People were taking liberties. I always paid them, I must say. I actually will put it out there. I took liberties with my own finances. I stretched them thin, but I always paid my Klarnas.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And so aside from credit and, you know, I guess taking out your credit card and learning a little bit about savings accounts and 401ks, what else is in the chapter in summary?
Let me go down. It was really just credit cards, like lots of tips. So like it said the 6 commandments of credit cards, which was 1, pay off your card regularly and pay more than the minimum payment. Because again, people get caught out. If you're only paying the minimum payment, you're going to end up paying more in interest. Getting any fees waived. So like annual fees, if you miss a payment by some sort of mistake, call up your credit card company, like pay it, call them up and be like, can I get this removed? Like, this has never happened before. Because that happened to me. It was an accident and I paid it immediately, but I called them and they took it off because they were like, oh yeah, you always pay on time, so we'll remove that for you in this instance. Obviously if I kept doing it, perhaps not, but it was a one-time thing. And it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Mistake because it was PayPal and I thought it was to my new email address, but the bill went to like my old one, so I'm waiting to be told like how much to pay, and then I realized like, oh, it's late. It's late. Yeah. And they were like, do you want to set up a direct debit? And I was like, no, this will never happen.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, no, because I don't want to do that with this, because I'm spending things I shouldn't spend on it. So no, but I've never missed a payment since. So yeah, again, negotiation skills for like calling up credit cards to lower the interest rate, the annual interest rate. Again, like, so if you've had like a credit card and you're a good customer, just like pulling it out of like the bag of like, oh well, I've seen another credit card and it's offering this. Like, I don't want to leave, but if you can't offer me that, then yeah, I think I'll be closing this account, and then see what they do. And I do this all the time with my phone company, because they try to mug me off every renewal. They try to mug me off, right? I'm paying £15 a month, right, for SIM only, and I've been paying, maybe I was paying 18 the year before. I'll ring them up and they're like, oh yeah, we can do you £30 a month. I'm like, no. I know. I'm like, that's more than what I'm paying. And they're like, okay, we'll bring it down, £24. I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave. Like, I found another deal for £15. Like, no. And then right at the end, they're like, okay, 15 months, this, get this and that. And I'm like, you lot just absolutely trying to take me for a little mug.
They're trying it.
Yeah. I know. It's like, I'm probably like, no, I'm not paying that. I found it cheaper, and I really stick to my guns. I do it with my car insurance as well. You have to stick to your guns, because people will take you for a little idiot. Keeping your cards active. What I didn't know is if you close your account, that's actually it negatively affects your credit score, because I was thinking of closing my Monzo because I've heard too many horror stories about them. So I was just like, oh, I'm not going to use them now. I'm going to close it. But it's actually better to just keep it open.
Yeah.
Because if I wanted to apply for something like a bit bigger, so like, say I needed a car on finance, but I've closed my Monzo account, that might affect my chances. Not that I'm trying to get another finance, I'll be real, not after that.
Yeah.
Don't fancy it. Get more credit only if you don't have debt. If you don't have debt, he recommends having, because it improves your credit utilization rate. So if you've got more credit available and you're obviously paying it off, or you're not using all of it, boost the score. Looks good apparently. And then yeah, take advantage of any rewards programs and consumer protections. And then it was like things to avoid, which was avoid closing your credit accounts unnecessarily. Manage your debt to protect your credit score. Think, again, if you're applying for a loan, think twice about closing accounts. Some people do like the 0% balance transfer. So if they have a credit card that was like 0% for like 12 months, and they've still got a balance on it, they'll transfer it to another one. He's saying it's not worth the time to keep doing that. Just pay it off. Like focus on long-term strategies rather than just transferring it to 0% for another 12 months and then another credit card and another credit card. Not to panic if it drops, because they do go up and down. Like I've noticed it with mine. I look and I'm like, why is it going down? And then it'll go up like the next month. Like, as long as it's not because you've not paid something. Don't waste time on small savings from rate chasing. Again, kind of similar to the 0% balance thing, like interest rates. Like, oh, that credit card has a different interest rate. Ideally, you want to be paying it off on time so you're not paying interest, basically. And then if you're that person that's like, you're at dinner and you've got your credit card, I'll put it on mine, and everyone gives you the cash. Put that cash in the bank.
ASAP.
Don't spend it. Put the cash in the bank and send it to your credit card. And then talks about like getting out of debt. So where is that? Okay. Ridding yourself of credit card debt. 1, figure out how much debt you have. Step 1. 2, decide on what to pay off first. So I guess depends what's a priority. And then the standard would be to pay the minimum on all of your credit cards or whatnot, or you can snowball it, which is pay minimum on everything, but then pay extra on the card with the lowest amount until that's paid off, and then the next highest debt, then the next highest debt. So like a snowball,
right?
You know, like when it starts small and it gets bigger and bigger. Yeah. Negotiating
I
down.
guess that's good because you get the momentum from getting like a small win. I guess that's what it is, isn't it? If you tackle the smallest one first, you build that momentum so you can be like, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna take on the big daddy.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's out. At least you don't have to worry about it, because it could depend on the amount, because some people have it's you can get into crazy debt with credit cards. Like, especially I think in America, I think they just be handing out credit. I think they were just handing out credit. Like over here, like you will just not get accepted. Like they're not trying to give you anything, but like he was talking about, don't take any credit card offers that come in the post. I'm thinking, I've never been offered a credit card in the post. That's wild. Yeah. So people would literally get posted a credit card. So they actually might. So I can see why it's easier to get in debt, because imagine it being posted to you and you just think, oh yeah, free money. It's not free money. Decide where your money will come from. So he's reducing your spending, balance transfers. But he says it's tempting, but it's a temporary fix. It's not it's good. Potentially picking up a second job, if you have to. Like it just depends. But it's gonna depend on everybody's individual stances. And then 5, get started. Just started. Like calculate the debt, pick your repayment strategy, and just go for it. And then that was it. That was pretty much the end of chapter 1.
Okay, cool.
That was the end. Yeah.
All right, love it. So it's more so focused this chapter on credit more than anything.
Yeah, literally. Like, because I think the aim is for you to be able to each week do something. So I guess week 1, they want you to be able to sort out your finances. So if you didn't have debt, they want you to be able to get a credit card from chapter 1. Or if you've got credit card debt, you should feel confident enough to start sorting it out, like start making a plan to start sorting it out, basically.
I think one thing that you realize, or one thing that I guess the viewers will start to realize if you're watching this, is that when you start to get on point with your money, all of these other things, they start to become in alignment as well. It's like you start to just be more on point. Like money is the main thing that governs our whole life in reality. So when you get on point with your money, naturally everything else gets in check. You're going to start looking sharper, you're going to start dressing better, even if you're struggling with money. But the fact that you're keeping track of it is like, now everything else is up to par. And I don't know if you've seen that. I think it's a quote or a motivational speech where from somebody that was in the army, and he goes, you know, the key to success is getting up in the morning and making your bed.
Oh, I hear it.
Yeah, so it's that first fundamental thing that you do is like keep that in check, and the rest of your life can be in check. And even from my own personal experience, from the first session that we had, and after I started to read the book that I'm reading, I started to look into my credit as well. And I then pulled up an Experian credit report. I've got ClearScore, which I was using prior, but I needed to pull up Experian to get all of the ins and outs. And just from going through that, like my credit scores improved by like 100 and something.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So yeah, naturally, if you have more conversations like this, you're just going to become more on point in general. And
yeah, if you want to do it and you're in the UK, I definitely recommend Experian as well. That's who I use. They give you a free one, but you can also just pay £15 for the full extensive report, or there might be a free trial, so you can actually get the first one free and then cancel it. That's what I did. But I would pay £15. But I know I only needed it the one time.
Yeah.
do. I also use money. So I think it's called Money Credit Club, but it's from like Martin Lewis's like money saving expert. He has like a thing where I keep track on my credit score.
Mm-hmm. On point, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only thing I think I knew about money, was like you have to have a good credit score. That was my starting point. It was like you need to have a good credit score.
Yeah, well, I mean, it governs everything in life. I mean, I look at Americans as well. American people in general, they have so much more debt than anywhere else in the world. And the fact that it's like one of the wealthiest countries, it doesn't make sense, because it's like college in America is 100 grand. I'm like, bro, like
that's what I think he does talk about, student debt. Like, that was crazy to me. Like, what you mean? They're at your door now for 100K. Like, not payment plan. No, they want it now. You're done. Okay, 100K on my plate. How is actually the average person meant to be paying this stuff? I do find it ludicrous, and don't even get me started on the hospital bills. I mean, don't get me started. It's criminal. I'm with you if you're in America.
Literally, man. In conclusion, good book so far or not?
Yeah, I think it's a really good starting point. Yeah, if you don't understand, if you're like me, you needed a good credit score, but you want to know why, read it. Yeah, I think it's a good point. It's a good starting point to get you. It's easy to read, very short and sweet. Yeah, not too wordy. It's not pretentious. So it's a really good way to ease into reading these finance books. Yeah,
love it. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in that case, then that is episode 3 wrapped up on chapter 1 of, what's your book's called again?
I'll Teach You to Be Rich.
Chapter 1 of I'll Teach You to Be Rich. In conclusion, it's more so about credit, and if you want to improve your credit, highly recommends reading chapter 1. With that being said, we'll catch you on the other side.
Peace.
The amount of money I'm going to be making will hurt your parents' feelings. You remember the class where I taught you all how to make it rain?